looks weird. Why does that look weird? Oh. Fix that. My light has fallen forward. Pardon me for one moment, too. That'll work. So, now that y'all got to see that as the intro, not embarrassing at all. Hi, my name is Angelique. I am from The Breath of Daydreams, both here on YouTube and over on Instagram. And I live in Texas. And so for those of you who may not be aware of it, we got a hurricane coming up through Texas. It won't be a hurricane by the time it gets to me, but we're supposed to get a lot of rain dumped on us in a very short period of time. I love rain. I love storms. The energy is just, whenever storms kick up and stuff. So I thought I need to read some poetry. I was feeling the urge to read some poetry, but I didn't know what I wanted to read. So I was talking to the nature of Ash, and Ash is like, we discussed it for a little bit, just throwing things back and forth. And we were like, Whitman, yeah, Whitman, because Whitman, right? No pressure, but oh, the words. And I was like, yeah, I love this book that I had read some to her once on, but I couldn't remember the name of the book. And then I was like, but also choices, too many choices, can't pick all that. And so she went and picked me out 7 poems from this book to read, and I am going to read them. I am so excited. So I'm going to give it a little bit and just a few seconds to make sure if anybody wants to come in, they have a chance. And I'm also I'll post this after the live, and I will also probably break it down so I can clean out sound after they allow me to download it. But give me one second. And y'all will see me going over and putting the times down so I can put time markers in and stuff. But the poems that I'm going to be reading tonight, it's this morning. It is so early in the morning. It's like 7 o'clock here. So it is definitely not tonight. But I usually prefer to do lives at night. So I'm just in the habit. So this morning is You on the Open Road, Loving Strangers in the City, Creatures of the Air, The Nighttime Sky, Rivers and Streams, Vocalism and the Poet's Voice. And she wanted me to end on You, the Poet, and the Future. So thank you, Ash. And that is what I am going to be doing. So shall we get started? I think we should get started. It is so weird doing a live when you're not like talking to anybody, but I can do it. So this is from the book In the Words of Walt Whitman. And I am going to start with You on the Open Road. And thank you, Ash, for that message. And so this is You on the Open Road by Walt Whitman. On the road or at some crevice door by chance, or hi Ash, smiley face, hey. Okay, let me start over. You on the open road. On the road or at some crevice door by chance, or opened window, pausing, inclining, baring my head, you, specially I greet. To draw and clench your soul for one inseparably with mine. Alons, whoever you are, come, travel with me. Whoever you are, come forth, or a man or woman, come forth. You must not stay sleeping and dallying there in the house, though you built it, or though it has been built for you. Out of the dark confinement, out from behind the screen, it is useless to protest. You, I lead upon a knoll, my left hand hooking you round the waist, my right hand pointing to landscapes of continents and the public road, the endless and beginless road which leads to all learning and knowledge and truth and pleasure up along the sidewalks of eternity. Oh, to see nothing anywhere but what you may reach it and pass it, to conceive no time, however distant, but what you may reach it and pass it, to see no being, no gods or any, but you also go thither, to look up and down no road, but it stretches and waits for you, however long, but it stretches and waits for you. Come, let us lag here no longer. Let us be up and away. Alons, the road is before us. It is safe. I have tried it. My own feet have tried it well, but not detained. Have we not stood here like trees in the ground long enough? Have we not groveled here long enough, eating and drinking like mere brutes? The stale cadaver blocks up the passage. The burial waits no longer. Sweet, fresh, and compact, we will go forth in the open sky, under the sun. Shoulder your duds, dear son, and I will mine, and let us hasten forth. Come from the midst of all that you have been your whole life surrounding yourself with. Leave all the preaching and teaching of others, and mind only these words of mine. Now I wash the gum from your eyes. You must habit yourself to the dazzle of the light and of every moment of your life. Oh, friend, whoe'er you are, at last arriving hither to commence, now we start hence, I with the rest on our journeys, to gather the minds of men out of their brains as you encounter them, to gather the love out of their hearts. We willing learners of all, teachers of all, and lovers of all. I feel sure you will learn a good deal and get experience of the world and people and of yourself too, all of which is the wisdom described in Scripture as better than riches. Traveling with me, you find what never tires, all the pulses of the world falling, and they beat for us, two blended, parallel, strolling tides, companions, travelers, gossiping as they journey up and down the curious roads going, north and south excursions making, power enjoying, elbows stretching, fingers clutching, armed and fearless, eating, drinking, sleeping, loving, misers, menials, priests alarming, air breathing, water drinking, on the turf or the sea breach dancing. No laws, lest they ourselves owning. Wonderful cities and free nations we shall fetch as we go, mighty inland cities yet unsurveyed and unsuspected, or vast and ruined desolate cities. We will integrate curious silent objects, the nameless masonries, venerable messages of unknown events, heroes, records, the blocks and fallen architecture, more than all the living cities of the globe. Alons, we must not stop here. However sweet the laid up stores, however convenient this dwelling, we cannot remain here. You but arrived at the city to which you were destined. You hardly settled yourself to satisfaction, but you were called by an irresistible call to depart. You shall not allow the whole of those who spread their reached hands toward you. What beckons of love you receive, you shall only answer with passionate kisses of parting, to take your lovers on the road with you, for all that you leave them behind you. You shall be treated to the ironical smiles and mockings of those who remain behind you, while the followers there in embryo wait behind. With me, with firm holding, yet haste, haste on, to glide swift in our spirits over all continents and seas, that we possess ourselves of the great round globe, and lose those little nuances that we were too long dwelling upon. Thus, open travel, footing the road, and more than once, and linked together, let us go. We the route for traveling clear, chanting our chant of pleasant exploration, fulfilling our foray. Listen, I will be honest with you. I do not offer the old smooth prizes, but offer rough, new prizes. Not for us the tame enjoyment, not the riches safe and palling, not the cushion in the slipper. Still be ours the blanket on the ground, not the peaceful and the studious. He, going with me, goes often in spare diet, poverty, angry enemies, desertions. He going with me leaves peace and routine behind him to undergo much, tramps of the days, rests of nights, to merge all in the travel they tend to, and the days and nights they tend to, again to merge them in the start of superior journey, ever the summit and merge at last, to surely start again, the thoughtful merge and the outlet again. Who needs to be afraid of the merge? I am he who tauntingly compels men, women, nations, crying alons through struggles and wars. Leap from your seats and contend for your lives. He going with me stakes his life to be lost at any moment. The element of danger adds zest to it all. He traveling with me needs the best blood, throughs, endurance. None may come to the trial till he or she bring courage and health. Has the night descended? Was the road late, so toilsome? Did we stop discouraged, nodding on our way? If you tire, give me both burdens and the rest the chuff of your hand on my hip. And in due time you shall repay the same service to me. For after we start, we never lie by again. Yet at passing hour, I yield you in your tracks to Yet at passing hour, I yield you in your tracks to pause oblivious. Sit a while, wayfarer. I give you biscuits to eat and milk to drink. But as soon as you sleep and bathe and renew yourself in sweet clothes, I kiss you with a goodbye kiss and open the gate for your egress hence. I hear your mute inquiry, whither I go from the bed I recline on. Come tell me, where am I speeding? Tell me my destination. I understand your anguish, but I cannot help you. I've warned thee in advance that it will depend entirely upon thyself how thee gets along. My own part will be nothing more than a point out the best road. Not I, not anyone, not God can travel that road for you. You must travel it for yourself. It is not far. It is within reach. Perhaps you have been on it since you were born and did not know. Perhaps it is everywhere, on land and on water. Hey, Tommy, good morning. Thank you for joining me. And so that was You on the Open Road. Whew, that was a long one, Ash. And next, we have Loving Strangers in the City. Ash says, yay. Oh, thank you, Ash. Let me get another mint in case this is long too. So thank you, Ash. I appreciate that. I'm trying not to think about it. So next we have Loving Strangers in the City by Walt Whitman. In cities now, Loving Strangers in the City. In cities now, modern, I wander, days, places, indifferent, through various the same. Still, I adhere to my city, my own Manhattan with spires, America's great democratic island city, the place of my dearest love, that I have lived and sung in your midst will one day make you illustrious. I think I have reason to be the proudest son alive, for I am the son of the brawny and tall-top city, the world city, me, a Manhattanese, the most loving, free, friendly, and proud. Manhattan streets I sauntered, day upon day and year upon year, O city, walking your streets, curious, gay, observant, and singing, pondering Manhattan streets with their powerful throbs, the tumultuous streets, the myriad feet of rushing Broadway, the endless sliding, mincing, shuffling feet, mighty Land River pouring down through the center of Manhattan. When millions footed Manhattan unpent descends to her pavements, the city's ceaseless crowd moves on the livelong day. The thick crowds, well-dressed, hurrying, feverish, electric crowds, the continental crowds as if they would never end, Manhattan crowds with their turbulent musical chorus, the broad, bright current streaming with strong voices, passions, pageants, the heavy bass, low roar, great hum and harshness, composite and musical. How strong is our instinct to seek social pleasures amidst a multitude. Just as any of you is one of a living crowd, I was one of a crowd. The mere presence of a crowd gathered to behold a spectacle is a powerful excitement. It is a never-ending amusement and study and recreation for me to ride a couple of hours of pleasant afternoon on a Broadway stage. You see, everything as you pass, the pageants, shipping tableaus, spectacles, what a fascinating chaos, a sort of million-hued, ever-changing, endless panorama. So many splendid buildings, tall, ornamental, noble buildings, high growths of iron, slender, strong, light, a tall-topped marble and iron beauties. They seem to almost reach the clouds. The lamps are lit, the shops blaze, shops, great windows with lots of fine things in the windows. Are they not about the same, the civilized world over? As I turn from the crowded street and peer through the plate glass at the pictures or the rich goods, in Broadway, the reflections moving, glistening, silent, the faces and figures, old and young, all so various, all so phantasmic. The thick crowds, well-dressed, sparkling eyes, human faces, magnetism. Crowds of women richly dressed, continually passing, ambulating to and fro, altogether different, superior in style, and looks from any to be seen anywhere else. As if New York would show what it can do in its humanity, its choicest physique and physiognomy, and its countless prodigality of locomotion, glitter, magnetism, and happiness. I sometimes think I am the particular man who enjoys the show of all these things in New York more than any other mortal, as if it was all got up just for me to observe and study. Again, my walks through the Manhattan, the streets I knew so well, I resume with curiosity the crowds, those never-ending human currents, the great tides of humanity with ever-shifting movements. I always enjoy seeing the city let loose and the rampage, a million people, manners free and superb, open voices, hospitality. What hurrying human tides or day What hurrying human tides or days, what passions, winnings, losses, otters swim thy waters, hurrying with the modern crowd, as eager and fickle as any. Amongst the men and women, the multitude, here and there, couples or trios, young and old, clear-faced and of the perfect physique, walk in twined arms in divine friendship, happy. A dreamer would not fail to see spirits amidst the crowds, devils busily whispering into scheming ears, the demons of falsehood, avarice, wrath, and impurity flitting hither and thither, and mingling eagerly their suggestions in the hot, seething atmosphere of human plots and devices. New York is one of the most crime-haunted and dangerous cities in Christendom. Any affordable stranger who makes friendly offers is very likely to attempt to swindle you as soon as he can get you into your confidence. And angels, too, among or above the hurrying mass, seeking to lift some soul out of evil ways or to guard it from imminent temptation. Making all allowances for the shadows and side streets of a million-headed city. Doubtless there were plenty of hard up folks along the pavements. The brief total of the impressions, the human qualities, is to me comforting, even heroic beyond statement. Alertness generally fine, physique a singular combination of reticence and self-possession, with good nature and friendliness and a palpable outcropping of personal comradeship, are not only constantly visible here in the mighty channels of men, but they form the rule and average. I know well real heart of this mighty city, fully aware of all that can be said on the other side. I find in this, New York, the daily contact and rapport with its myriad people on the scale of oceans and tides, the best, most effective medicine my soul has yet partaken. I get along very sociably with any of them, as I let them do all of the talking, and only now and then I have a long confab or ask a suggest question or two. These, I say, and like of these, completely satisfy my senses of power, fullness, motion, etc., and give me, through such senses and appetites, and through my aesthetic consciousness, a continued exaltation, an absolute fulfillment. The city of such young men, I swear I cannot live happy without I often go talk, walk, eat, drink, sleep with them. The city of such women, many beautiful women, I am mad to be with them. I said to myself, I must pursue these people into its haunts, the great million, the city where it lives. I have gone thither and I have carefully viewed them. I have not pierced those places with the eyes of intellect merely, for more have I pierced them with the sense of sympathy and love. I think that the persons thereof are mine, that I alone understand them and love them. Superb-faced Manhattan, endless humanity in all phases, I have rejected nothing you've offered me. To make me glutted, enriched of soul, you give me forever faces, faces and faces and faces, faces of friendship, precision, caution, suavidity, ideality, the ugly face of something beautiful, the handsome, detested, or despised face, the face of an amour, the face of a veneration, the face as of a dream, the face of an immobile rock, the face withdrawn of its good and bad and castrated face. The face is a haze more chill than the Arctic Sea. The face is a dog's snout sniffing for garbage. Good or bad, I never question you. I love all. I do not condemn anything. I chant and celebrate all that is yours. Give me these phantoms incessant and endless. Give me faces in streets, when the facades of the houses are alive with people, when eyes gaze riveted tens of thousands at a time, clear eyes that look straight at you. What curious questioning glances. The glimpses just caught of the eyes and expressions, glints of love. What can be subtler and finer than the play of faces on such occasions in the responding crowds? What go more to one's heart? Gaze loving and thirsting eyes in a house or street or public assembly. Give me interminable eyes. Give me women. Give me comrades and lovers by the thousand. Let me see new ones every day. Let me hold new ones by the hand every day. Well-formed, beautiful faces, looking you straight in the eye. For me, lips they have smiled, eyes they have shed tears, Manhattan faces and eyes, forever me. I too, arising, answering, merge with the crowd and gaze with them. The first glance out of my eyes electrifies me with love and delight. Oh, that you saw these millions of eyes, Manhattan, frequent and swift flash of eyes, offering me love, offering response to my own. What is it I interchange so suddenly with strangers as I pass? What gives me to be free to a woman's and man's goodwill? What gives them to be free to mine? City of orgies, walks, and joys. I share the midnight orgies of young men. I dance with the dancers and drink with the drinkers. Young fellows, robust, friendly, sound out voices of young men. Yet comes one, the young man of Manhattan, the celebrated rough, picking me out by secret and divine signs, acknowledging none else, not parent, wife, husband, brother, child, any nearer than I am. Some are baffled, but that one is not. That one knows me. I love him, though I do not know him. Passing stranger, lover, and perfect equal. To you who you are, a look, the glances of my eyes, these burned eyes that swept the daylight, flashing to you to past to future time as we flit by each other. You do not know how longingly I look upon you. If you passing meet me in desire to speak to me, why should you not speak to me? And why should I not speak to you? Simple, spontaneous, curious, two souls interchanging. You must be he I was seeking or she I was seeking. I do not doubt I am to meet you again. I am to see to it that I do not lose you. Remember you, surging Manhattan's crowds. There in the crowd stood I and singled you out with attachment. I know not why, but I loved you. I never could explain why I love anybody or anything. I meant that you should discover me so by faint indirections, and to discover you by the like in you. It seemed, after all, strangers that we were until this moment, that we were not strangers either, in fact, but old acquaintances. All is recalled as we flit by each other, fluid, affectionate, chaste, matured. You grew up with me, were mere a boy with me, or a girl with me. I have somewhere surely lived a life of joy with you. Touch me. Touch the palm of your hand to my body as I pass. Be not afraid of my body. And ever at parting kiss me lightly on the lips with robust love. And I on the crossing of the street or on the ship's deck give a kiss in return. If I worship one thing more than another, loving longer in my winding paths, it shall be you. Hands I have taken, face I have kissed, mortal I have ever touched. It shall be you. Through Manhattan streets, I walking these things gathering, I saw many I loved in the street or ferry, boat or public assembly, hundreds, yet never told them a word. As if I do not secretly love strangers, oh, tenderly, a long time, and never avow it. The greatest love is that which makes no profession. I swear, I begin to see love with sweeter spasms than that which responds love. It is that which contains itself, which never invites and never refuses, regardless of others, ever regardful of others. Ash, as I was reading this, I was like, why in the world did she pick this one? And then I got to the part that was almost anaphora-like, and I was like, that is why. And that is what you were talking about. Thank you. Ash is Walt, oh, so hungry, right? It's like, whew, Walt's walking around going, I want you, and you, and you. He was a randy fellow. And so next, hi, Pradeepta. Beautifully read. Thank you so much. And thank you for coming in and singing. It's nice to see you. And so next, I'm going to read Creatures of the Air. Ooh, this one's pretty. Let me write that down so I can get the time right for you guys. And so this is Creatures of the Air by Walt Whitman. Okay. The wonderfulness of it. Oh, before I start, actually, because sometimes YouTube and Instagram and all them don't like the Bluetooth connecting, and so that's why I took my earbuds off, because it kept turning off. Can y'all hear me okay without having earbuds on, or does it sound weird? Because I'm worried the speaker might be picking up the electric from my, and the fan from my laptop. Is it fine without the earbuds, or should I put them back on? Good? All right, thank you. So, Creatures of the Air by Walt Whitman. The wonderfulness of insects in the air, swarms of flitting insects, the beautiful spiritual insects, many varieties of beautiful and plain butterflies, myriads idly flapping amongst the plants and wild posies, mostly skimming along the surface, dipping and oscillating, now and then some gorgeous fellow flashing lazily by on wings like artist palettes dabbed with every color. You can tame even such insects. I have one big and handsome moth, knows and comes to me, likes me to hold him up on my extended hand. I hardly look around without somewhere seeing two, always two, fluttering through the air in amorous dalliance. Two little yellow butterflies shuffling between each other, ascending high in the air. Two large dragonflies with wings of slate-colored lace gauze, circling and darting and occasionally balancing themselves quite still, their wings quivering all the time. Now, I will do nothing but listen, to accrue what I hear into the song, to let sounds contribute towards it. The song of the locust gushes, his meaning, a long, chromatic, tremulous crescendo, monotonous. But what a swing there is in that brassy drone, round and round, emitting wave after wave of notes, like the whirling of brass quoits, like some fine old wine, not sweet, but far better than sweet, reaching a point of great energy and significance, and then quickly and gracefully dropping down and out. I hear bravos of birds, all sorts of birds, darting, hopping, or perched on trees, such oceans, such successions of them. Never before have I been in the midst of and got so flooded and saturated with them and their performances. One little bird lurks in the background and sings by himself, and then all the birds strike in together, and there's a real concert going on around me, the noisy, vocal, natural concert, a dozen different birds pitching in with a will. especially at the beginning of the day, and again at the ending, I get the most copious bird concerts. The mockingbird joyfully sounds his delicious gurgles and cackles and screams and weeps. The wild fagelge note of all quail nearby. Harsh cawing of many crows in the distance, the screams of the waterfowl of solitary northwest lakes, the low, oft-repeated shriek of the diver, the fretful meow, meow, wow, wow of querulous catbird, and the song of the phoebe bird. The convocation of blackbirds, garrulous flocks of them twittering, rising, or overhead passing. The wild fowl's note at night is flying low, migrating north or south, the notes of the bird continuous echoing. The song of the wood thrush, delicious notes, a sweet, artless, voluntarily simple anthem as from the flute stops of some organ. The sad noises of the night owl from recesses to ooh, 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 soft and pensive, and I fancied a little sarcastic, breaking the warm, indolent, half-voluptuous silence. The song of the single snowbird merrily sounding over the desolation of the blithe throat from the Arctic and bleak and blank, a feathered recluse in the woods nearby singing deliciously. Not many notes, but full of music of almost human sympathy. I have a positive conviction that some of these birds sing and others fly and flirt about here for my special benefit. I believe in those winged purposes. The wild gander leads his flock through the cold night. You honk, he says, and sounds it down to me like an invitation. The pert may suppose it meaningless, but listening close, I find its purpose and place up there towards the wintry sky. The spotted hawk salutes the approaching night. The hawk's sharp scream. He swoops by and accuses me. He complains hoarsely with sarcastic voice of my gab and my loitering. From his masterful sweep, the warning cry of the eagle, give way there. It is useless. Give up your spoils. Oh, to go back to that place where I was born, to hear the birds sing once more. The darting swallow, the destroyer of insects, flitting amongst the trees of the apple orchard, built the nest of his mate. Two feathered guests from Alabama, two together, and their nests in 4 light green eggs spotted with brown. Every day the she-bird crouched on her nest, silent, with bright eyes, till of a sudden may be killed, unknown to her mate. One forenoon and she-bird crouched not on the nest, nor returned that afternoon, nor the next, nor ever appeared again. More than once, dimly down to the beach gliding, silent, avoiding the moonbeams, blending myself with the shadows, I heard at intervals the he-bird, the solitary guest from Alabama singing bird divine, down almost amidst the lazy slapping waves so that the lone singer wonderful causing tears. What he really sang for was a subtle, clandestine, away beyond, a charge transmitted and a gift occult for those being born. I, with bare feet, a child, the wind wafting my hair, listened long and long, listened to keep to song. From the memories of the bird that chanted to me, from the memories, sad brother, from the fitful risings and fallings I heard there in the mist. Oh, you singer solitary, singing by yourself, projecting me. Oh, solitary me listening, now translating the notes. Nevermore shall I cease perpetuating you, to sing the idea of all. Oh, if one could fly like a bird, to emerge and be of the sky, of the sun and moon and flying clouds, as one with them. Where the bat flies, where the hummingbird shimmers, I see the parrots in the woods, the band-necked partridges roost in a ring on the ground with their heads out. My tread scares the wood drake and wood duck. They rise together, they slowly circle round. Two great buzzards wheeling gracefully and slowly far up there, sail a slow whirl in the majestic spirals and discs. Two kingfishers pursue each other, whirling and wheeling around, winding, darting with many a jocund downward dip. Sometimes capriciously separate, then flying together, as if they knew I appreciated and absorbed their vitality, spirituality, faithfulness. And then off they swoop with slanting wings and graceful flight. Seagulls high in the air, their broad and easy flight in spirals, floating with motionless wings or oscillating their bodies with slow, unflapping wings. Here and there, above all, those daring, careening things of grace and wonder, those white and shaded, swift-darting fish birds with their fierce, pure, hawk-like beauty and motion. High up in the transparent ether, gracefully balanced and circled 4 or 5 great sea hawks. The hawks sailing where men have not yet sailed. The farthest polar sea, ripply, crystalline, open beyond the flows. Fly on, seabirds, fly sideways on wheel in large circles high in the air. And sometimes, in the fiercest storm, a great eagle will appear, now soaring with steady and now overbending wings, his resistless flight, now a swirl, now an upward movement, now abandoning himself to the gale, moving with it with such velocity. Lord of the situation and the storm, Lord amid it of power and savage joy. It is like reading some first-class natural tragedy or epic or hearing martial trumpets. Skyward in air of sudden muffled sound, the dalliance of the eagles, the rushing amorous contact high in space together, the clenching interlocking claws, a living fierce gyrating wheel, 4 beating wings, 2 beaks, a swirling mass, tight, grappling and tumbling, turning, clustering loops, straight downward, falling, till o'er the river poised the twain yet one, a moment's law, a motionless, still balance in the air. Then parting talons loosing, upward again on slow, firm pinions, slanting their separate, diverse flight, she hers, he his, pursuing. Man of war, bird, thou born to match the gale, thou art all wings, that sport amidst the lightning, flash and thunder cloud, thou ship of air that never furls thy sails, days, even weeks, untired and onward through spaces, realms, gyrating, a blue point far, far in heaven floating, the sky thy slave that cradled thee, in thy expense hadst thou my soul, what joys were thine. The flight of the mountain hawk, oh haughty, white-blooded, dark-winged hawk, rose slowly, a magnificent sight, and sailed with steady, widespread wings, no flapping at all, in circles, in clear sight, as if for my delectation. Once he came quite close over my head. A thrill of my own likeness strikes me as the spotted hawk wheels noisily near my head at nightfall. O soul, voyagest thou indeed on voyages like those? Are thy wings plumed indeed for such far flights? I fly the flight of the fluid and the swallowing soul. All islands to which birds wing their way, I wing my way myself. I use the wings of the land bird and use the wings of the seabird and look down as from a height. In vain the buzzard houses herself with the sky. In vain the razored bildaock sails for the north to Labrador. I follow quickly. I ascend to the nest in the fissure of the cliff. I ascend from the moon, I ascend from the night, I shake my white locks at the runway sun. I depart as air screaming with wings slow flapping, with flights and songs and screams answering those of the fishhawk, mockingbird, night heron, and eagle. Joyous, the amplest spaces heavenward cleaving, I circulate in all directions round. I have abandoned myself to flights, broad circles, around and around to soar. Whew. At first I thought, well, Walt, you sure do have something with yourself, thinking everything's got to do with you, but then he gives so much passion to everything, and it's just like, he loves it, and that is gorgeous. Oh, thank you, Tommy. Ash, he has such fantastic active imagery in this piece. You could easily see the birds entangled in midair falling. I love it. It makes you just want to go out bird watching, doesn't it? I mean, it's gorgeous. Pradipta says, this is so enjoyable. Oh, thank you, Pradipta. Thank you, Mercury. This is fun. I'm enjoying myself. So thank you guys for coming and watching. And thank you, Ash, for picking these poems. Oh, the poems you picked. Woman. And next, we're going to have the Nighttime Sky. Let me get a drink. And I've read this. This is a poem. You picked some poems, Ash. So thank you. So this is The Nighttime Sky by Walt Whitman. After the dazzle of day is gone, the dark night shows to my eye. Let me start over. Okay, sorry. The Nighttime Sky. Careful what I asked for? Yeah, I'm going to remember that with you, especially after this. But no, I'm enjoying it, so thank you for delivering what I asked for. The Nighttime Sky. After the dazzle of day is gone, the dark night shows to my eyes the stars. Give me nights perfectly quiet and I looking up at the stars. I was thinking the day most splendid till I saw what the not day exhibited. I was thinking this globe enough till there sprang out so noiseless around me myriads of other globes. Some shaped, others unshaped, with their varied degrees of perfection, climate, and swiftness. And I see multiplied as high as I can cipher, edge but the rim of the farthest systems. Now touched with the lives of the other globes, some probably are but forming, not so advanced as the earth, some arrived as far along as those of the earth, some no doubt more advanced. I henceforth no more ignore them than I ignore my own life, or the lives of the earth arrived as far as mine, or waiting to arrive. Rising and gliding out, I wandered off by myself in the mystical moist night air, and from time to time looked up at the high dilating stars, the far sprinkled systems clustering, studded out by myriads, chandeliers of the universe, hung up there, beholding and mutually lit by each other's lights, all comparative silence and clear shadow below. All the usual sense of motion, all animal life seemed discarded, seemed a fiction. A curious power, like the placid rest of Egyptian gods, took possession. Overhead, the splendor indescribable. Excuse me. Gonna sneeze. Give me one moment. Oh, sorry. Overhead, the splendor indescribable, yet something haughty, almost supercilious in the night. One can understand why, from the days of the pharaohs or Job, the dome of heaven, sprinkled with planets, has supplied the subtlest, deepest criticism on human pride, glory, and ambition. Nothing can exceed the calm, fierce, golden, glistening domination of Mars. Mars walks the heavens, Lord paramount now. Never before so flaming bright, so flashing large, amidst a transparent clear belt of ether, yet left in the east. Ascends large and calm the Lord star, Jupiter dominating, majestic, and nigh at hand swim the delicate sisters, the Pleiades. Brilliant, lustrous, cluster-free, tremulous, with delicate sparkle in the soft heavens. Venus fascinating, swimming in her tender glory. In the early hours of evening, the great star has never been so large, so clear. Venus, large to the last, with calm, commanding seriousness and hauteur, shining even to the edge of the horizon like blazing silver with a voluptuous dazzle, of a size and luster as if trying to outshow herself before departing. Now languid and shorn of her beams, as if from some divine excess. A moment I linger, for the lustrous star has detained me. That star, my departing comrade, with silver face in the night, holds and detains me. It seems as if told something, as if it held rapport indulgent with humanity. Teeming maternal orb, I take you again to myself. I saw you had something to tell me as we'd wandered together this solemn night, as you bent to me night after night, as you drooped from the sky low down, as if by my side, while the other stars all looked upon. As the night advanced, and I saw on the rim of the west how full you were of woe. O great star disappeared, O the black murk that hides the star, O powerful western fallen star. My soul in its trouble dissatisfied sank, as where you said sad orb concluded, dropped in the night and were gone. I cease from my song for thee, from my gaze on thee in the west, communing with thee, O comrade lustrous with silver face in the night. 3 or 4 great black clouds, seemingly from different points, sweeping with broad swirls of wind, undersped the orbs from view. Here and there throughout the heavens, a random star appearing and disappearing. At times a half-dim, saddened, far-off star appearing and disappearing. The ravening clouds shall not long be victorious. They devour the stars only in apparition. Be patient. Watch again another night. Jupiter shall emerge. The Pleiades shall emerge. Venus shall emerge. They are immortal. The vast immortal sun shall shine again. On onward silently stars aloft, eastward new ones upward stole, Sirius very bright, the sun of the night, calmly arrogant, most wondrous single star rising early. Many-orbed Orion, chief historian of the stage, spread glittering vast, sworded his shiny yellow rosette on his shoulder, chasing with his dog Arcturus right overhead, ambitiously large and sparkling, as if he meant to challenge with Sirius the stellar supremacy. The long, curling, slanted scorpion stretched full view in the south, with red Antares glowing in its neck. The great constellation of the water serpent stretched its coils over the more than half the heavens. The swan with outspread wings was flying down the Milky Way. Night of the large few stars, a few large stars overhead, silent and mournful shining. Placid beckoning stars away off sextillions of miles, far, far out of reach. Yet it isn't only the palpable stars. There are millions of other stars in the heavens, millions, some as great, perhaps some we do not see, surpassing the best we see. Astronomers say there are dark, almost dark, unnoticed orbs and suns rolling through space, real and potent in any, perhaps the more real and potent, yet none recks of them. And the bright lexicon that we give the spreading heavens, they have not even names amid ceaseless sophistications all times. The soul would seem to glance yearningly around for such contrasts, such cool, still offsets. When depressed by some specially sad event or tearing problem, I wait till I go out under the stars for the last voiceless satisfaction. You power that does this work. You unseen force, centripetal, centrifugal through spaces spread. Rapport of sun, moon, earth, and of all the constellations. Where are the messages by you from distant stars to us? The sky and stars speak no word, nothing to the intellect, yet in silence of a fine night, questions are answered to the soul. The best answers that can be given, creation noisily sinks into and through me in its placid and untellable lesson. The stars, so eloquent, so communicative to the soul, and hint from their orbits of millions of leagues afar that there is a region beyond. Oh, so infinitely beyond anything from art, books, sermons, or from science, old or new. And I believe I have this night a clue through the universes, and I believe I have this night thought a thought of the cleft of eternity, every star now clear cut, showing for just what is eternal. How the sun, moon, stars dart on and on, all the clustering suns and planets, splendid suns, the moons and rings, shine and shine and shine forever. On and on they roll forever. Did you guess the celestial laws are yet to be worked over and rectified? Never did I realize more latent sentiment, almost passion in those silent, interminable stars up there. From the whole dome shoot down points of light, rapport with me through the clear blue black. A curious, general, luminous throughout to sight, sense, and soul. An undying chain and echelon of spiritual proofs and shows. As if some superhuman symphony, some ode of universal vagueness, disdaining syllable and sound, silent athwart my soul, moves the symphony true. As I watch the stars shining so quiet and bright, I think a thought of cleft of universes and of the future. The stars, suns, systems circling move in order safe, harmonious, conveying the sentiment of the mad, whirling full out, speed of the stars and their circular orbits. I do not doubt that the orbs and the systems of the orbs play their swift sports through the air on purpose, and that I shall one day be eligible to do as much as they, and more than they. I suppose I am to be eligible to visit the stars in my time. Another stately and solemn night, I was awake much, watching the stars as they twinkled, and saw the countless armies of heaven marching stilly in the space up there, marching stilly and slowly on, and others coming up out of the east to take their places. An indescribable serenity pervaded my mind, a delicious abnegation of the ties of the body. Thoughts of the boundless creation most have expanded my mind. I fancied myself leaping forward into the extent of the space, springing as if it were from the star to star. See you, the comet that came unannounced out of the north, flaring in heaven, the strange, huge meteor procession, dazzling and clear, shooting over our heads. Myriads in all directions, some with long, shining trains, some rolling over each other like water poured out of falling, leaping, silent, white apparitions of the sky. A moment long it sailed its balls of unearthly light over our heads, so spectral fierce, like some great pale living monster of the air or sea, then departed, dropped in the night, and was gone. What am I myself but one of your meteors, speeding through space, speeding through heaven and the stars, throwing fireballs like the rest? How splendid, above all, the moon, that the moon spins round the earth and on with the earth is wonderful, and that they balance themselves with the sun and stars is wonderful. Last evening, I saw the first of the new moon over my right shoulder, a sure sign of good luck. It hung delicate just above the sulky shadow of the mountains, half an hour high, sinking languidly under a bar sinister of clouds, and then emerging, the large, pale, thin crescent of the new moon, the exquisite, delicate, thin curve of the new moon, the thinnest cut crescent possible, the outlined old moon clear along with it. Illustrious the pale reflection of the new moon in the western sky, the sky and air so clear, so transparent hues of color that it seemed to me I had never really seen the new moon before. The moon, a little past its first quarter, the moon, like a young mother, carrying the crescent child that carries its own full mother in its belly. Oh, as if might prove an omen and good prophecy. Low hangs the moon. It rose late, the yellow half moon enlarged, sagging down, drooping, late risen and swollen as if with tears. It is lagging. Oh, I think of it heavy with love. With love. The moon, an hour high, is past her half and looks somewhere more like a human face up there than ever before, as it grows later and we have such gorgeous and broad cloud effects. The moon swam on, the sky held two vast fan-shaped echelons of light clouds through which the moon waded, now radiating, carrying with her an aureola of tawny, transparent brown, and now flooding the whole vast with clear, vapory light green, through which as though an illuminated veil she moved with measured, womanly motion. Up from the east, silvery round moon, just risen moon, shone out from a cloud and scattered a flood of light on the wooded banks, the water, and everything else, pouring silvery soft in its radiant patches over all, and it seemed like a good omen. Under the full of the moon, shimmering and shifting, delicate colors, effects of pellucid green and tawny vapor and tawny halos, silver edgings, never a more glorious moon, floundering through the drifts, great fleeces, depths of blue-black in patches, and occasionally long, low bars hanging silently a while, and then gray, bulging masses rolling along stately, sometimes in a long procession. The vitreous pour of the full moon just tinged with blue, throwing down a broad dazzle of highway on the waters, beautiful over the housetops, ghastly phantom moon. I perceived that thy ghastly glimmer was noonday sunbeams reflected. Lo, the sun, its glory floods the moon, which at night shines in such turbid pull, shaken by soughing winds. Thou art sparkles mad and tossed and broken, and the archetype is the sun. O moon, immense and silent, with your silvery face, you soothe me. Pour down your unstinted nimbus, sacred moon, lustrous flooding moon, full of reality, full of illusion. Is there not something about the moon, some relation or reminder which no poem or literature has yet caught? The rare nocturnal scene, how soon it soothed and pacified me. The airs, the stars, the moon. What a fullness of inspiration they imparted. What exhilaration. It was a great and precious and memorable experience. The transparent night, the planets, the moderate west wind, the elastic temperature, the miracle of the great star, and the moon swimming in the west suffused the soul. Everything a miracle of splendor, moon splendor and star splendor, and silently by my side, my dear friend, something altogether to filter through one's soul and nourish and feed and soothe the memory long afterwards. He likes space, which is cool because the sky is cool. You know, when they say ashes vitreous pour, right? When they say, if you could have a dinner with anybody in the world, I do believe Whitman would have been fun to dine with and converse with, because the man has passion about everything, and that would be a joy to converse with. Don't you think? I was just like, oh my gosh, yes. Can you imagine it? I mean, that would be something else. So we have 3 more poems to go. And the next one that Ash picked is called, oh, and also before I do that, can you imagine him on Instagram today with his super long, short story sized epic poems? That would be hilarious. The mind that is able to write for that long and stay so passionate throughout the entire writing, over and over and over and over again. Wow. Just wow, right? So, sorry about that. Next, Rivers and Streams by Walt Whitman. Rivers. Oh, the rivers. I know best of all the rivers. The river and bay are always a great attraction to me. The water everywhere I travel in this country is the best part. And there seems no end of it. The interminable rivers, great and small, ample and sufficient, plenteous waters, very clean and pure, of a sky blue color, exquisitely polished, silvery, now narrowing, now expanding, the long, thick river stripes of the earth, flowing stately, rapid, swift running on either tide, flood, or ebb, the water always rushing along as if in haste, the grand, sweeping, curving, gently undulating rivers, and slow, sluggish rivers, lonesome waters, where they flow distant over flats of silvery sands or through swamps, earth of shine and dark, modeling the tide of the rivers. Oh, the memories of rivers. I loved well the stately and rapid river, the majestic and moving river. I have never lived away from a big river. The water is my favorite recreation. Mine was no casual contact, but the contact of years, love, association of childhood, boyhood, manhood, maturity. I was there. I saw it all. I felt the odor of it steal about me, envelop me. I have been there in the presence of all its 1,001 changes of color. Only by such gathered lights and shades can anyone really know, appreciate, enter into the fine tones of meaning. That is, by actually living, breathing, bathing in the life of it. My own favorite loafing places have always been the rivers, the wharfs, the boats, an old wharf, the decayed, rotted beams, pilings, the grass-grown mossy endings, surfaces, oh, they appeal to me most of all. The river is often crowded with steamers, ships, and small craft. It is a lively scene. The countless masts, the white shore steamers, the lighters, the ferry boats, the black sea steamers, well modeled, moving in different directions, some coming in from the sea, others going out with copious commerce. I like sailors, stevedores on rivers, boatsmen safely moored at nightfall in their boats under shelter of high banks. Some of the younger men dance to the sound of the banjo or fiddle. Others sit on the gunwale smoking and talking. I spend a portion of the day with the pilots of the ferry boats, ever plying over the river. Amongst the pilots are some of my particular favorite friends. No, amongst the pilots are some of my particular friends. When I see them up in the pilot house, I go up and sail to and fro several trips. I enjoy an hour or two sail of this kind very much indeed. Life and travel and memory have offered and will preserve to me no deeper cut incidents, panorama, or sights to cheer my soul than my days and nights up and down this fascinating river. Just as you feel when you look on the river and sky, so I felt. Just as you are refreshed by the gladness of the sweetness tasting river and the bright flow, I was refreshed. I, too many and many a time, crossed the river of old, looked at the fine centrifugal spokes of light round the shapes of my head in the sunlit water, had my eyes dazzled by the shimmering tracks of beams as I floated idly down the twilight ebb. I could spend 2 or 3 hours every day of my life here. Lean on the rail, yet hurry with the swift current and never get tired. Be firm, rail over the river to support those who lean idly, yet haste with the hastening current. On interior rivers by night, when the solid frost and ice folly set in, for miles north and south, rivers full of ice, the broken ice in the river passing along up or down with the flood tide or ebb tide, thick, marbly, glistening, mostly broken, but some immense cakes. And in the clear moonlight, the whole river is now spread with it as far as I can see. The enormous masses of ice pass me and I pass them, strange, unearthly river fiends with malignant faces, silvery, faintly glistening, bumping, trembling, sometimes hissing like 1,000 snakes. Wild and wide their arms are thrown, as if to clutch in fatal embraces him who sails their realm upon. O tireless waters, like death in this midnight hour you seem, life in your chill drops greedily burying. How solemn the river, a trailing paw, which takes but never again gives back. Like time with a clutch, remorseless, continual, that which you take is forever gone. Like life's quick dream, onward and onward, ever hurrying. But unlike time, you begin and end. Unlike life, you've a pathway steady. Unlike earth's are your numberless graves, ever undug, yet ever ready. A canoe, a dim shadow thing, moves across the black water, burying a torch ablaze at the prow. The river, with which had seemed like a path of darkness and doubt, now sparkling. The play of light through shining and flowing waters, the sheeny track of light in the water, dancing and rippling. In the distance, the flowing gaze, the breast of the river with a wind dapple here and there. Tawny streaks and shades spreading blue, pale gray and green, purple, white and gold. The scene on the river heavenly, more beautiful and bright than you can conceive. I mark from on deck the strange landscape, the constantly changing but ever beautiful panorama on both sides of the river. The rich borders of river with ranging hills on the dark high banks, ever with high rocky hills for banks, green and gray, brown and blue rock, yellow jagged bank with white pebble stones. Oh, waters, I have fingered every shore with you. I have run through what a river or strait of globe has run through. These lines are penciled on the edge of a woody bank, and where the brook puts out of the roots of the old trees and flows to the meadow, the spring under the willows pouring a sizable stream, with a glistening pond and a creek seen through the trees. Oh, winding creeks and many a jocund brook, the brooks running, sweet brooks of drinking water, many an herb-lined brook's reticulations, all that is jocund and sparkling, turbulent, clear crystal mountain streams, darkly transparent waters, streams of amber and bronze brawling along, often ever descents of rock. Wayward rivulets down canyons from sources of perpetual snow, the snows of inaccessible upper areas melting, and the wild stream running down through the gorges continually, with frequent cascades and snow-white foam on the glistening breast of the stream, plunging with velocity down the rocks, tumbling with the roar of pouring cataracts, always strong, deep, hundreds of feet, sometimes thousands. The river tumbling green and white far below. Refreshed by the gladness of the river and the bright flow, I keep generally buoyant spirits, get in the sun and down to the river whenever I can. I will go to the private, untrimmed bank by the wood and become undisguised and naked, now wading in a little, fearing not the wet. How the water sports and sings. I am soothed by its soft gurgle in one place. The inimitable soft sound gurgles of it as I sit there on hot afternoons, and the hoarser murmurs of the 3-foot fall in another, gurgling ceaselessly the whole year through. Surely it is alive, meaning, saying something, of course, if only one could translate it. Babylon, O brook, musically brawling with the utterance of thine, as I haunt thee so often, thou knowest not me. Yet why be so certain? Who can tell? But I will learn from thee, and I will dwell on thee, receive, copy, print from thee, hurrying with the swift current flowing, forever flowing. The whirling current, laughing and buoyant, rushing so swiftly and swimming far away with me, laughing with the cool waters. But take it, Ash. Now I want to go kayaking or canoeing. Thank you so much for that. That was gorgeous. Wow. There's really not words. I mean, the way I thought he describes, the heavens or the birds or the insects well, but the way that he describes the flowing of the rivers and the streams and the water pouring over rocks, all the different colors, the different sounds, such a sensory pageantry. It is just amazing. He paints such, not just a visual picture, but he engages every sense, and that is just amazing. Tommy says, yes, ashes, that'll do it. Water, right? Water, man, I love me some water. Yes. That was nice, Ash. That was nice. And so we have 2 more. Ash says, I read him when I can't go outside. I was thinking that while I was reading it, because the conversation we had the other day about the woods, and I was just thinking, damn, I just need to open up a book of Whitman and close my eye. Well, I guess I can't read him while closing my eyes, but the same. His words bring all those smells and sounds and textures and colors that if you've been there, you know what they are, and his words bring them back into your mind because they are so poignantly written and descriptive without going too descriptive. It's like that perfect, gorgeous balance. Really like it. And next we have you should see how worn out my book is. Oh, I bet it's falling apart. And so this is Vocalism and the Poet's Voice. Rare has the day been, likewise the spot, of the birth of the maker of poems. The answerer, vast and rare is the day, and divine is the place. Not every century, nor every 5 centuries contains such a day, nor does every nation hold such a place. Only at last, after many years, after chastity, friendship, procreation, prudence, and nakedness, after treading ground and breasting river and lake, after absorbing errors, temperaments, races, after knowledge, freedom, crimes, after complete faith, after clarifyings, elevations, and removing obstructions, after these and more, it is just possible there comes to a man or woman the divine power to speak words. Powerful words uttered with powerful words uttered with copiousness and decision. They debauch as they are wanted to march obediently through the mouth of that man or that woman. Curious enveloped messages delivering that embody the rude materials of the people and give them the best forms for the place and time. Sparkles hot, seed, ethereal, down in the dirt dropping to ages and ages, yet the growth of the seed leaving. Wait till he speaks. What God's voice is that sounding from his mouth, singing songs in liquid flowing syllables with a flowing mouth? The practiced and perfect organ who sounds out these music, who holds every hearer by spells, by pleasing and natural and simple effects, such suavidity, ease, suppleness, capacity, untying beauty with strength, command, and natural flowing vocal luxuriousness. The inner, apparently inexhaustible fund of latent volcanic passion, the glory of a perfect art. Nothing is better than a superb vocalism. There is the consciousness of abounding presence in a superb voice. The charm of the beautiful pronunciation of all words, of all tongues, the charm of unswervingly perfect vocalization is in the perfect, flexible vocal organs and in a developed, harmonious soul. All words spoken from these have deeper, sweeter sounds, new meanings impossible on any less terms. Such meanings, such sounds continually wait in every word that exists, perhaps slumbering through years, until that time comes which has the quality, patiently waiting in the words, the quality to bring forth what lies slumbering forever ready in all words. The best philosophy and poetry, or something like the best, after all these centuries, perhaps waits to be roused out yet or suggested by the perfect human voice. It must have its intellectual completeness, its proofs, its reasonings to convince, lively, close, concise style, which expresses a great many ideas in few words, thought and demonstration clothed with sentiment, adorned as the goodly tree is by the efflorescence of its own branches. It must also have that irresistible attraction and robust living treat, deeper than art, deeper even than proof, something in the quality and power of the right voice that touches the soul, the abysms. It's reference to the spiritual, to immortality, to the mystic in man, which knows without proof and is beyond materialism. There is a mysterious, wonderful quality in the human voice which no plummet has yet sounded, to which literature has not yet done any sort of justice, as it could not, I suppose. There must be something in the very vibration of the sounds of the mouth, something in the movements of the lips and the mouth, something in the spirituality and personality that produces full effects. I see that power is folded in a great crackling vocalism, measure, concentration, determination, unflagging vitality and determination in every assertion, suggestion, inquiry, rebuke. It becomes determined, copious, resistless, such power to say, yet not to appear to know all the gravity and wonder of his power. This gravity, linked with such joy, holding the words it tongues in, is a divine gift, a divine fire. And when you hear it, the merciless light shall pour and the storm rage around. Preaching without appearing to be sermonizing is the art of arts. It reaches the soul of men by pleasing channels, mysterious, penetrating as the light, the air, beauty, the songs of birds reach the soul, and those piercing and all lively strokes that reach the innermost soul without the soul being conscious of it. The place of the orator and his hearers is truly an agnostic arena. There he wrestles and contends with them. He suffers, sweats, undergoes his great toil and ecstasy. His eagerness springs from thoroughly honest conviction and passionate love of truth. Earnest and honest, his heart's desire is to communicate with the mind of his audience, to lay hold of it and wield it for some cherished purpose. His main point, contact, touch with his audience, to trust to the communications of the moment, to feel the throb, the joy, sadness, expectancy of the people gathered together. Notwithstanding the diversity of minds in such a multitude, by the lightnings of eloquence they are melted into one mass, the whole assembly actuated in one and the same way. For oratory, it is a great art in a man to be able to triumph on either side of an argument and get applause. But the highest art is to be able to triumph only on the right side without regard to applause. The greatest orator is he who contains always a crowded and critical audience in himself and speaks to that invisible house more than to any other. Oh, what it is in me that makes me tremble so at voices. It has always been one of my chosen delights, from earliest boyhood up, to follow the flights of oratory. The main question about his matter is, what does it amount to? But I cannot but admire his manner of giving it utterance. It is so thoroughly natural and spontaneous, just like a stream of pure water issuing that we know whence and flowing along we care not how, only conscious of the fact that it is beautiful all the time. And now I believe that all waits for the right voice. Oh, voices of greater orators and oratresses. That's the way to mess up a poem, Angelique. Now I believe that all waits for the right voice. Oh, voices of great orators and oratresses, so broad and spacious, launched out with fire, and I pause, I listen for you. Surely whoever speaks to me in the right voice, vocal utterance to shake me through and become fixed in my memory, him or her I shall follow, as the water follows the moon silently with fluid steps anywhere around the globe. I call in the midst of the crowd my own voice orotone, sweeping and final. One has love for the sound of his own voice. Somehow, it's always magnetic. And I have come at last, no more ashamed nor afraid, talking like a man unaware that there was ever hitherto such a production as a book, or such a being as a writer. This electric self, out of the pride of which I utter poems, will now shake out carols stronger and haughtier than have ever yet been heard upon earth. Oh, to have the gag removed from one's mouth, to make the most jubilant song, open mouth of my soul, uttering gladness, full of music, full of manhood, womanhood, infancy. I am mad with devouring ecstasy to make joyous hymns for the whole earth. I too am not a bit tamed. I have not felt to warble and trill, however sweetly. I, exalted, have felt to soar in freedom and in the fullness of power, joy, volition. Loud, oh my throat, and clear, oh so capricious and loud, my savage song, the voice of full yielding. While I have a horror of ranting and bawling, I at certain moments let the spirit impulse, demon, rage its utmost, its wildest, damnedest. I sound my barbaric yawp over the roofs of the world. I feel to do so in my leaves of grass, and I do so. Erect and haughty this song, its words in scope free and luxuriant, the sound of the belches words of my voice lucid to the eddies of the wind. The air with furnishes me the breath to speak in subtle and boundless, but what is it compared to the things it serves me to speak? The meanings, voice bringing hope and prophecy to the generous races of young and old. Through me, many long, dumb voices, voices of the interminable generations of prisoners and slaves, voices of the diseased and despairing of thieves and dwarfs, of the rights of them, of the others are down upon, of the deformed, trivial, flat, foolish, despised. Through me, forbidden voices, voices of sexes and lust, voices veiled and I remove the veil, voices indecent by me clarified and transfigured. I chanter of pains and joys. I make the poem of evil also. I commemorate that part also. And understand that you cannot keep out of your writing the indication of the evil you entertain in yourself. No one will perfectly enjoy me who has not some of my own rudeness, sensuality, and hauteur. I accept all and then reproduce all of my own forms, not to exclude or demarcate or pick out evils from their formidable masses, even to expose them, but to celebrate the immortal and the good. What is known I strip away. I sing the dark, vast unknown. Every flash shall be a revelation on the interior and exterior of man or woman, on the laws of nature, on passive materials, on what you call death. For not my life and years alone I give, all I give. With the twirl of my tongue, I encompass worlds and volumes of worlds to span vast realms of space and time. Space and time fused in a chant, and the flowing, eternal identity. Damn. He cracks me up sometimes because he's quite full of himself too. But the passion there and the passion telling people, come on, man, just own it. Ash says, yes, well, preach, brother, preach. He does preach, doesn't he? He's like, he does not hold his passions back. And you got to love that, because that takes balls to write like that and put it out there like that. So go Walt. And now the last one. And this one is also quite passionate. It'll be something. So Ash thought the perfect poem to end the poetry read on would be You, the Poet, and the Future. So that is what we're going to do. You, the Poet, and the Future by Walt Whitman. What will be the result of this year's hence? Whether I shall complete what is here, let me start over. Sometimes it's hard to get his words just right. Okay. You, the Poet, and the Future by Walt Whitman. What will be the result of this year's hence? Whether I shall complete what is here started, whether I shall dart forth the true rays, the ones that wait unfired, whether I shall attain my own height to justify these yet unfinished, whether I shall make the poem of the new world transcending all others, depends, rich persons, upon you. Have I proved myself strong by provoking strength out of you? Have you gone aside after listening to me and created for yourself? Oh, poets to come, orators, singers, musicians to come, I depend on you. Not today, not merely what I tell is to justify me. You, a new brood, native, athletic, greater than before known, arouse, for you must justify me. What I provoke from you and from ensuing times, a movement in which I am only an episode, is to justify me. So I charge that there be no theory or school founded out of me. Most writers who have anything to say have a splendid theory and scheme, and something they want to put forth. I, on the contrary, have no scheme, no cocked and primed system, no axe to grind, no theory to expound. I have no chair, no church, no nothing. I do not teach a definite philosophy, plenty of philosophy, but not a philosophy. The last thing the world needs is a cut and dried philosophy, and the last man to announce a cut and dried philosophy would be Walt Whitman. I will not be a great philosopher and found any school and build it with iron pillars and make disciples the new superior churches and politics shall come. I have the idea that if we sat here together and they called me master, I'd feel like a fool. It is one of my dreads that there may come a time and people to explicate leaves of grass, explicating this, that, the other, as if there was no doubt in the world about it, a leaves of grass, creeds, boards of explicators. This line means this and that line means that, and God damn you for a fool if you don't say so too. So I charge you forever, reject those who would expound me, for I cannot expound myself. I charge you to leave all free as I have left all free. I adopted no creeds, never joined parties. I was always free. I see why all the ists and isms and hates and dogmatists exist, and I can see why they must exist and why I must include all, but I don't want you to evangelize for me. I'd rather not have anybody evangelized into a belief in leaves of grass. I have established nothing for good. I have but established these things till things further onward shall be prepared to be established. And I am myself the preparer of things farther onward. After me, vista. As I have announced each age for itself, this moment I set for example, like other primitive surveyors, I must do the best I can, leaving it to those who come after me to do much better. The service, in fact, if any, must be to break a sort of first path or track, no matter how rude and ungeometrical. Leaves of grass may only be an indication, a forerunner, a barbaric road breaker, less accomplishment than preparation. I would liken it to the awakening of thoughts, the signal of a great march. Walt Whitman announces the coming after him of great successions of poets, and that he but lifts his finger to give the signal. And I charge that the young that succeed me to train themselves and acquire terrible voices for disputes of life and death, and be ready to respond to whatever needs response. Who is he that would become my follower? Who wants to be any man's mere follower? Let none be content with me. You shall no longer take things at second or third hand, nor look through the eyes of the dead. You should not look through my eyes either, nor take things from me. I encourage you to subject me and my words to the strongest tests of any. I myself seek a man better than I am, or a woman better than I am. I invite defiance and to make myself superseded. I am the teacher of athletes. He that be me spreads a wider breast than my own, proves the width of my own. And these poems are both offspring and parents of superior offspring. All I have done, I would cheerfully give to be trod underfoot. If it is might only to be the soil of superior poems, and bravest to him or her who coming after me achieves the work in triumph, I demand the choicest edifices to destroy them. I have offered my style to everyone. He most honors my style who learns under it to destroy the teacher. I teach straying from me, yet who can stray from me? I follow you, whoever you are, from the present hour. I pursue you where none else has pursued you, and am around, tenacious, acquisitive, tireless, and cannot be shaken away. I am not to be denied. I compel. My steps drag behind yours, yet go before them. For your life adhere to me. I know that it is good for you. I can only unloose you and toughen you. Leaves, I salute you. Come forward. I see the approach of your numberless gangs. Who would sign himself a candidate for my affections? Do you think it so easy to have me become your lover? Do you think the friendship of me would be unalloyed satisfaction? I am not he bringing ointments and soft wool for you. Your novitiate, that's the word I can't say. I apologize. I can never say this word. Novitiate. That word, novitiate, no, your novitiate would be long and exhausting. The way is suspicious, the result slow, uncertain, perhaps destructive, for I confront peace, security, and all the settled laws to unsettle them. Remember this above all, there is no royal road to learning. The whole past theory of your life and all conformity to the lives around you would have to be abandoned. You would have to give up all else, and I alone would expect to be your sole and exclusive standard. If blood like mine circle not in your veins, if you be not silently selected by lovers and do not silently select lovers, of what use is it that you seek to become a leave of mine? nor will the candidates for my love, unless at most a very few, prove victorious. I give you fair warning before you attempt me further. I am not what you supposed, but far different. Do you suppose you will find in me your ideal? I am not the poet of goodness only. I do not decline to be the poet of wickedness also. Nor will my poems do good only. They will do just as much evil, perhaps more. These leaves, conning you, con at peril. My words are weapons. The book will not serve as books serve, but as the rude air, the salt sea, the burning fire, and the rocky ground, sharp, full of danger, full of contradictions and offense, full of death. These leaves in me will not understand at first. They will elude you at first, and still more afterwards. I put many things on record that you will not understand, but they must be understood. I know very well that they may have to be searched many times before they come to you and comply with you, but what of that? Has not nature to be searched many times? You will hardly know who I am or what I mean. I may have to be persuaded many times before I consent to give myself really to you. But what of that? Must not nature be persuaded many times? My words itch at your ears till you understand them. Continue your annotations, continue your questionings. My book is my repose, my truest explanation of all, and in it I have put my body and spirit. My book wrestle with you and puzzle you. Of me the good comes by wrestling for it. I am he with whom you must wrestle for the solid prizes of the universe. For such I afford whoever can persevere to win them. But even while you should think you had unquestionably caught me, behold, I will certainly elude you. Already, you see, I have escaped from you. I feel like one who has done work for the day to retire a while. Farewell, dear friend, whoever you are, and may the many blessings of hope and peace never be absent from you. May the sun of peace warm you and the dews of prosperity fall thick around your path. Sweet blossoms bloom beneath your eyes and the songs of birds gladden your hearing. May the bloom of health glow on your features and the tide of joy swell in your heart. And may your kind angel hover in the invisible air and lose sight of your blessed presence never. Take from my lips this kiss, and I give it especially to you. I will you in all myself, I in all my songs behind my leaving. Do not forget me. Remember my words. I love you, and I hope we shall meet again. Wherever I go, I believe I shall often return. Where anyone thinks of me or wishes me, that will allure me. Where personal love reaches towards me, that will allure me. Failing to fetch me at first, keep encouraged. Missing me one place, search another. Be of good cheer. I will not desert you. I stop somewhere, waiting for you. And if you want me again, look for me under your boot soles, wafting to you, dear reader, from amidst the fresh scent of the grass. My best wishes, my true goodwill and love, with promise never to desert you, to which I sign my name, Walt Whitman. We understand then, do we not? What I promised without mentioning it, have you not accepted it? What the push of reading could not start is started by me personally, is it not? What the study could not teach, What the preaching could not accomplish is accomplished, is it not? Surely all will one day be accomplished. Hi, Ames. Okay. Ash answered. Cool. Superbly delivered, Mr. That's really kind of you, Ash. Thank you. Thank you for picking these poems out. You are amazing. Novitiate. You're trying to get me to say the word. Novitiate. 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 Yeah, I wouldn't have got that. Thank you, Ash. Told you that was a good closer. That is a good closer. Yes, you did great. You did amazing. So thank you so much. Tommy says thank you for your awesome read. Thank you for listening, Tommy and Ash and anybody else who came in and listened. Like the word initiate. Yes, I do too. I just like how passionate he is about everything that he writes and says. He doesn't halfway do it. He is all in for whatever he's saying or writing, and he doesn't tiptoe around it. He isn't casual about it. He's like, I like this. I don't like this. I love this. This is gorgeous. This is amazing. Worship, worship, worship it. And then I really like about this one where he is like, don't worship me, grind me under your boot and be better than me. Excel far above me. And I love that because that is the hallmark of any good teacher or anyone who, any artisan, anyone who's doing something always wants whoever's coming up under them, behind them to do so much better. Tommy says he makes me feel like a noodle, not a writer. Me too, Tommy. Yeah, it's like, that's why I like to read poetry like this, because when you read it, you go, ooh, I really need to work on my poetry a bit. And it gets you to want to be better. And it also opens your eyes and ears to a more musical way of writing and like a more romantic and full-on adoration of the words. And I don't think that often exists these days. We don't adore like that often, or we do it in a different way. And so it's fun to read. To me, it's a luxury in a lot of ways, and it's just gorgeous. So thank you guys for coming and letting me read to you. And I will be putting the times up for these in the live, but then once YouTube allows me to download it, I'm going to download it and then re-put it up probably in individual poems with the background noise filtered out so that it's better. So thank you guys so much. Ash says this was written when, and we are still reading him. Right? I mean, wow. That's amazing. So thank you guys. I hope you have a good rest of your day, and bye. May your muse shine brightly. I guess I should say that, right? May your muse shine brightly. Bye.